Alright, sorry if I sound like I'm inside a garbage disposal throughout all of this video. I am sick, but you know, the grind, it doesn't stop, except for when I don't upload in 2 weeks. That is, in fact, a moment where the grind does indeed stop, but other than that, the grind don't stop. Welcome to a football video. This is in fact the only correct NFL 2021 power rankings. All other NFL 2021 power rankings are in fact false, and if they follow my exact structure and rankings, then they are in fact copying me. Move out the way. Who's the dumb guy who does the... Is it like Adam Rank? Adam, is that the guy who does the NFL power rankings? Yeah, look at this smug. Look at this smug. Look at this smug son of a bitch. Look at this dumb. Look at this guy. You know, look at this guy thinking the San Francisco 49ers are gonna go 3-13 the year they went to the... Is there more stupid things he said? I want to see some more stupid things he said. Because he's a real dumb guy. Look at his dumb face. Denver Broncos schedule, that's pretty bad. I mean, that's not too far off, but still. What other dumb things they say? Oh, that's nasty. It's nasty. Oh, this... What the frick? Whoa. He turned black? He was white a second ago. A second ago, he was white. And then all of a sudden, what the fuck? He's black now, and also grew a couple inches. And also looks older. Alright, we're good now. Alright. So who's... I know what everybody's thinking. What the fuck's my YouTube channel name now? Robert, from the Pickle Jar Variety Show. What's your the worst team in the NFL? Well, that's of course the Houston Texans. They're in fact a very bad football team, except for the linebacking core. I actually think their linebacking core is pretty good. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, sure he showed up at training camp, but I don't think that stops him from going to jail. I think jail has a higher priority of places he needs, places he goes to, than, you know, a football field, allegedly. Here's the thing. If you can, how many allegations are we at now? What's the fucking tally? What's the goddamn tally? What's the big old number we're at now? Let me look it up. Deshaun Watson. How many allegations we at now? Just give me a number. Just allegation. Oh fuck. Allegation number. Just give me the number. That's all I want. It is at, yeah, 22. So, if you can, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything legally. All I'm saying is that if you can cut your allegations in half, and you're still, over 10, I don't know, not looking good for you. But yeah, also, Jadeveon Clowney's been gone for a couple years, because he was in Seattle, and he was also, where is he now? Is he on the Browns now? He might be on the Browns now. I do not know. They have like 20 different running backs, and a mediocre wide receiver core. So they're kinda screwed. I think Tyrod Taylor will try his best, but, will be pretty bad. Next up, 31 is the, there we go. 31 is the Detroit, let me grab my apple juice. 31 is the Detroit Lions. Of course, the big offseason things were grabbing Jared Goff at quarterback, which was, of course, a downgrade, losing your two top wide receivers. But hey, there's some hope. Like, here's the thing. Other than the pretty decent linebacking core, the Texans have absolutely nothing. But Detroit, they got Penei Sewell, and they got, who's the guy they got in the first round 2 years ago? Who's the cornerback that was supposed to be good, but kind of sucked? Not Isaiah Simmons. Someone else. But yeah, the O-line should improve. Hawkinson's a good tight end. So, they got two things. DeAndre Swift should step up as a running back. So, they got two things to look forward to. While the Texans have one. So, you do the math. Number 30 is the New York Jets. They'll be bad. Of course, Jamal Adams not being there will definitely not help. Lucky for them, they got a decent enough O-line. And I think the D-line's pretty good. Of course, at wide receiver, they got Jameson Crowder and Corey Davis. That should be a good wide receiver duo for, of course, Zach Wilson, who I think will be okay because he has a fine O-line and decent enough weapons. I think that will really help him out. So, definitely a rebuilding year for New York, and we'll see where it goes from here. Number 29 is the Philadelphia Eagles. I think your opinion of the Eagles really does fall on your opinion of Jalen Hurts. I personally think he'll be pretty good. I think he'll be a fine, lower-tier starter, but still a starter caliber player. Miles Sanders is at the running back position. He's okay. Wide receivers outside of Devontae Smith, who, remember, is in fact a rookie. They don't have a whole lot to look forward to. An old Deshaun Jackson, at tight end. I think Zach Ertz is coming back, but he's also old, so I don't know. O-line has taken a massive step down. I think it'll be pretty bad. So yeah, some pieces to work around. The thing is, it seems like half of this team is the older core from the Super Bowl one, Zach Ertz, Jason Kelce, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, who will still be solid, but, they're not gonna be there by the end game of the, rebuilding process. So, I don't know. Next up, Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm actually a person who thinks Sam Darnold will do pretty good in his Carolina debut. He's got Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore to be tossing bombs to. He's got, who's the Tyler Chin? I think that's the rookie who should take a step up, maybe get that, secondary better, and then, of course, Christian McCaffrey, who will still be leading the league in fantasy points forever. The O-line is bad. But outside that, if out of the bottom 5 teams, this is the one that I think I could see potentially being good, but I doubt it. Number 27 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, they got Trevor Lawrence, should be pretty dang good. Running back, they got Travis Etienne, and James Robinson. I don't know why you would draft Travis Etienne when you have James Robinson. That doesn't make that much sense to me. I think at the linebacking position, they got Miles Jack, of course, and I think they got Joe Schobert from the Browns. Of course, they got, what's-his-face, Tim Tebow. You know what, I think signing Tim Tebow was a pretty good move. Maybe not from the team aspect, but definitely from the money aspect, because, there's a lot of Florida Gators fans in Jacksonville, probably, or in the Jacksonville area. So, throwing him the ball, a few times a game, maybe getting him a touchdown, that to potentially boost ticket sales. I think that's a smart move on part of the front office. But yeah, definitely rebuilding here. I like their pass catching options. I like DJ Chark and the guy who I can't pronounce the name of right now. This team will do better. They won't go 1-15. They'll win like 5 games, maybe. Hold up 1 second. Bad. Las Vegas Raiders. It's impossible to get a read on the Raiders, in my opinion, because every year they look like they could be pretty good, and then they're mediocre. So this is the year where I just say, screw it, they're gonna be bad. Derek Carr's a pretty decent quarterback. They got, of course, Josh Jacobs, but they don't got any wide receivers. And they draft really bad. They just draft like a normal team. You could have gotten Justin Jefferson last year, and you went with Henry Ruggs. But at least they got a great tight end and Darren Waller. That defense is bad. It's a bad defense. The O-line's okay. But, like, draft like a normal team. Just once. When it's been, like, 3 years in a row where you're just drafting bad and just weird. At that point, at what point does all you have left on your squad just bad draft picks, you know? Okay, number 25, the Chicago Bears. Again, I don't know what to think about this team, because you got Andy Dalton at least starting at quarterback. I don't know when Justin Fields will come in, but he'll probably come in a little too late for the Bears. Montgomery is a great running back. At wide receiver, you got Allen Robinson, and that's it. I should actually bump down the wide receiver grade, because they lost their second best wide receiver, traded them to Texans. I guess I should also bump up the Texans wide receiver grade, but I also don't care. And then, of course, the defense should be really good. You still got Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith and A. Jackson. It should still be a great defense. But again, you have a lot of old pieces. Allen Robinson's, like, almost 30 and wants out of Chicago, and if he goes out of Chicago, who the heck is Justin Fields going to be throwing the ball to? I don't know how many more years Khalil Mack has. Interesting team. They should be good in a few years. It should be a quick turnaround for the Bears. But I think this year, they'll be bad. 24, Cincinnati Bengals, presuming Joe Burrow doesn't completely die. This team should definitely see a significant upgrade. Of course, Joe Burrow shined in his rookie year. Hopefully he can get back to that form, but he's young, so I trust that he'll heal properly and get back in there. Joe Mixon's a solid option at running back. They got too good of a wide receiver core. You don't need... This is still the dumbest thing in my opinion. You already have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. Why are you drafting a wide receiver for your first pick when Joe Burrow literally almost died on the field because he kept getting sacked so much? You could have had Penei Sewell, you dummies! That's such a... really dumb in my opinion, but it's still a great wide receiver core. O-line, bad. D-line, bad. Linebackers, just... The secondary's pretty good. They'll be alright. Do they still have Nick Vigil? And they got a decent... Jesse Bates is a decent safety. The secondary should be pretty good. But everything else on defense, not good. Do they still have Geno Atkins? Even if they do, I think he's old. It probably is bad. And of course, that O-line, not great. Not a great outlook for the Bengals. Number 23, the Denver Broncos. Boy, oh boy, has that top picture aged poorly. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is officially back in Green Bay for one more season, which made the past couple months just feel pointless, but whatever. But Drew Lock, I think Teddy Bridgewater honestly is the better option at quarterback. A lot of people think that Drew Lock like shows flashes of potential, while Daniel Jones is just like always terrible. But I honestly think it's the opposite. I think Daniel Jones shows bits where he's really good, while Drew Lock is always bad whenever I watch him. But whatever. You got Melvin Gordon at running back, but he's fine. You got a good wide receiver core with Cortland Sutton and what's-his-face, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, one of the best tight ends, one of the most underrated tight ends, and then of course, that secondary is amazing. Best secondary in the league. Maybe second to Baltimore. Maybe. And then, of course, Von Miller is there, and Bradley Chubb. Excellent defense from the Broncos. So you look at the grading, and it's like, oh, dang. The only really things that could use improvement are, like, what, the O-line and QB? Well, those are the two most important positions in all football. So, I still have the Broncos quite low, just because you have a great defense, but A, Von Miller is getting old, and B, what's the point if you can't score points? They're completely great defense, just terrible offense. Number 22, the New York Giants. Danny Dimes, I think, is slightly better than, what's-his-face, Drew Lock. Saquon Barkley is coming back. He should be great. I'm a little hesitant when calling him top 5, because, you know, he's coming off of a big injury. Wide receiver position, listen. If Daniel Jones doesn't perform great, it's on him. Like, you have Saquon, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slay, Evan Ingram, if he can actually catch the ball, can be decent. The only thing holding this team back is, and a decent enough defense, the only thing holding this team back is the offensive line and quarterback. And you know, last century, what's the things holding them back? O-line and wide receiver, or in quarterback. But yeah, the O-line is the worst in the NFL, or in New York. I think most people would agree with that. Unless there's not one that's just, there's no other team with a really bad O-line that's, like, sticking out of my brain. But yeah, decent defense, a defense that could potentially be top 10. It's just down to the offense, and the offense, if the O-line and Daniel Jones played good, could also be top 10. This could be a playoff team if those two aspects of the game would just step up. But I don't think it's gonna happen. 21 is the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan will still be playing great. Of course, they lost Julio Jones, but they still have Calvin Johnson. Is his name Calvin Johnson? I feel like I get last names really mixed up. Calvin Johnson is the Lions guy, isn't he? Megatron? Calvin Ridley. I can't even make the excuse that I'm tired, because it's 2 in the afternoon. Yeah, I should also probably be bumping down the running back grade, because they lost Todd Gurley. I think he's in Baltimore. They got Kyle Pitts, who honestly, that should replace Julio decently, you know. The problem is, defense is trash. It's trash. Number 20, Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the team that I think will take the largest decrease in quality. They were 12-4 last season, and I'm not sure if I can see them going above 500. They got great defense, of course, with TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick. They did lose Bud Dupree, but I don't think it's that massive of a loss. Of course, they got a great wide receiver core of Juju and Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. Najee Harris will be a great running back, but I feel like I've said this 3 entries now. If you have a bad QB and a bad O-line, you're not gonna get super high on this list, because Big Ben is throwing the ball 3 yards every play. And sure, that's on him for being a bad quarterback, for not being great and not really having the arm strength or the pocket mobility or the anything that he used to have. But it's also down, but at the same time, the O-line is probably only giving him like a second to throw the ball. I don't know why I said Big Ben was throwing the ball 3 seconds, because 3 seconds is actually a decent amount of time in the pocket, but it just sounded like a small number in my head, so whatever. Number 19, the Washington football team. Ryan Fitzpatrick, we of course all love him at quarterback. He'll get the job done. He'll be serviceable. He won't be great, but he was pretty good for Miami last year, so whatever. You got Antonio Gibson, and I think Jared McKissick at running back. That's a decent running back duo. Terry McLaurin will hopefully take that step up to being a true number 1 wide receiver, potentially being like top 15. I think Logan Thomas or Jared Weed. They got a decent tight end. And of course, that defensive line. Beautiful. Obviously, they have other pieces other than Chase Claypool, or, oh my god, I'm so dumb, Chase Young. Obviously, they have great pieces other than Chase Young, but I think Chase Young really helped out this defensive line. Number 18. New Orleans Saints. Actually, they might be the team that takes the most drastic of a step down, because they at least made it to the divisional round while the Steelers lost in the wild card. I don't trust Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill that much as quarterbacks. Of course, they'll still have Alvin Kamara. The wide receiver grade is so low because Michael Thomas will be injured for a couple of months. So this offense is just going to be Alvin Kamara. So draft him. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say draft Alvin Kamara first overall in fantasy. Christian McCaffrey's great, Saquon's great, Dalvin Cook's great. Draft Alvin Kamara. He's that good. The O-line is one of the best in the NFL. Cam Jordan is behind a stout D-line. The defensive backs, the secondary took a bit of a step down. I think they lost Norris Jenkins, but it should still be alright. It should still be serviceable. So yeah, a lot of holes on this team, but as long as they have Kamara and Michael Thomas when he gets back and that great D-line, they should be okay. Fringe potential playoff team, but I don't think they're making the playoffs. Number 17, Arizona Cardinals. I really wanted to put this team in the top half of the rankings, but there's just too many holes on this team. Let's go over the good. First off, DeAndre Hopkins and who's this? Christian Kirk and AJ Green. Alright, good wide receiver core. Of course, Kyler Murray's great. The O-line's solid. Buda Baker's a good defensive, one of the best safeties in the league. J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones should make the pass rush pretty good. And now onto the bad. The linebacking core sucks. Or it doesn't suck, but it's not great. Because Isaiah Simmons didn't play great didn't do great in his rookie year. I don't think the Cardinals know how to use him that well. So yeah, a couple of, and they don't really have a running back, so Murray doesn't really have anyone to hand the ball off to, so a decent team, and they're playing in the toughest division in football. Yeah. Tough break for the Cardinals. Number 16, Minnesota Vikings. That O-line The O-line is all I can say. The O-line really holding this team back. And also just, again, I know it's a narrative at this point. It's basically a meme. But, like, Kirk Cousins has to step up in big games. He does some, he's not terrible. I don't fully agree with everything the narrative says. But I still think he needs to step up. And he has the weapons, too. He has Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. That should be a Super Bowl offense. That should be a Super Bowl offense. Harrison Smith, Anthony Barr. That should be a Super Bowl team. I think it just comes down to Kirk Cousins, who I like. I think he's like top 15. He just doesn't do that great under pressure. So this team could be really good, but I don't know. I doubt it. Number 15, Dallas Cowboys. Dak will be back, which will be great. Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott make up a good running back duo. They have possibly the best wide receiver core in the NFL. Their O-line is outstanding. Micah Parsons will help out the linebacking core. And then they have the worst secondary in the league. In my opinion, I think the worst secondary in the league. Yeah. Because they didn't draft the cornerback when they could have and probably should have. And they already have Lane Vander Esch. It's not like linebacker was like a super big need, or still a need, because you can't just have the whole position groupings be controlled by one guy. But still, woof for Jerry Jones. They'll make for a pretty fun Hard Knocks team. So at least you have that. Number 14, New England Patriots. Mac Jones and Cam Newton will make for the saddest quarterback competition. Cam, on one hand, sure, it can be said that Cam Newton was in a brand new offensive system and didn't have an offseason and didn't have any real weapons. But at the same time, it's not even his football IQ that was the problem. It's just he doesn't have the arm talent anymore, and I'm not sure how close to being ready Mac Jones will be. But the defense should be great with all the guys coming back who were holding out or not playing due to COVID. The O-line is great. Tight end, you got Hunter Henry and is it Jared? No, Jared Cook's on the Chargers. Who's the second? Jonnu Smith? Yep, Jonnu Smith. But yeah, don't really have any real weapons. Not a great running back group, but there still should be a decent team. Judon is coming out to help the pass rush. Should be a decent team. Number 13, Los Angeles Chargers. Oh! A lot of guys who I think are underrated on this team. And by a lot of guys, I mean two, and that's Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. I think they'll help out Herbert, who should potentially have an MVP season. Jared Cook isn't that massive of a worse option than Hunter Henry. The O-line's decent, the defensive line's decent, linebacker core could be better. But the pass rush should be great with Joey Bosa. Next up, number 12, Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill, we already know about the big four on the offense. Julio, AJ Smith, oh my god, AJ Brown. How many names have I gotten wrong? AJ Smith? What the fuck is an AJ Smith? And then, of course, Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. But again, defense, not great. They can't really stop the run too good, or the pass, or get to the quarterback. And I don't think they added, to be fair, they added Janoris, or I think they added Janoris Jenkins to his team. Coupled with Malcolm Butler is an okay secondary, and Bud Dupree will be fine. They're definitely trying to, like, fill in holes with duct tape, you know? Because, like, they could potentially be, if I'm the Titans front office, things said they could potentially be a Super Bowl team, so it's trying to do quick fixes with old veteran guys and just throwing money at people. But they haven't gotten but they haven't had a season with more than 10 wins in a while, or in probably a decade. So I don't know if they're necessarily a Super Bowl team, but they should still be pretty good and possibly make the playoffs. Number 11, Seattle Seahawks. Again, too many weak points on this team. I love Bobby Wagner, and I love, what's his face? Blitz Boy. That's the only thing I know how to call him. I will never remember his name, even though he's one of the most popular defensive players in the NFL, and I really should be knowing his name. Whatever. I'll just blame the fact that I'm sick on my terrible memory. Offensive line's bad, defensive line's bad, Chris Carson's an okay running back, a great wide receiver core, and of course Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner, and again, I'm completely blanking on one of the most popular defensive players in the NFL. I wonder what happens if I just look up Blitz Boy. Jamal Adams. I wasn't even close to getting his name correctly. That's not even like that's some secondary, that's some random linebacker on, the Titans or whatever. It's okay if I forget his name. No, that's fucking Jamal Adams, you know? Whatever, let's get through this. Number 10, Miami Dolphins. A lot of these teams look great on the outside, but I don't think will be that great as an actual team. Miami Dolphins are the exact opposite. Nothing really too big to get excited about, other than probably that secondary. Mike Gesicki's a good tight end. They got some good pass options: Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller. I think, but they didn't have that great of a team on paper, and they still won 10 games and almost made it to the playoffs. So I think this team is an extremely well coached. And I think if Tua takes a step up, we could see a playoff team. And I think he will take a step up, because people are way too quick to call people bust in the NFL. Even if even if a player has 10 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in his first season, I'm honestly not even going to call him a bust if it's only his first season. Number 9, Indianapolis Colts. Of course, the big addition was Carson Wentz. He should be pretty good, because sure, he wasn't great, but that was last season, but that was still partially because the Eagles have a bad offensive line, and the Colts have a very good offensive line. I think the best in football, behind the Browns and maybe the Patriots. And then Darius Leonard is on the defense. Honestly, I think Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers aren't that large of a talent gap, so I still think and the Colts still made the playoffs. So I feel like this team's good. I couldn't have them a little bit. Maybe the Seahawks are better, but it's just my point of view right now, late July of 2021. Number 8, the San Francisco 49ers. QB controversy between, I don't know when Trey Lance will play. If he plays this season, it'll be very late. Or Jimmy G will probably get injured, let's be real. They got a decent running back core. Nothing's wrong with this team. They just need to be healthy. That's the only problem. They got an okay secondary, which fine, and Jimmy G's not the best quarterback. But they got a decent wide receiver core. They got the second or third best tight end in the league. A great O-line. Nick Bosa's coming back. You know, this team should be looking to get back to the Super Bowl, but just because they had an bad season last year, I'm a little bit skeptical still. but I think this team should bounce back pretty well and still make the playoffs. Number 7, Green Bay Packers. All this slash F plus or slash D plus slash number 20. That's before I realized Aaron Rodgers coming back and so was Devontae Adams. Whoops! I made this. I think I filed in the Green Bay Packers entry literally the day before it was announced Rodgers was coming back. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, don't need to say that much. Need a bit more wide receiver depth outside of Aaron Jones. Allen Lazard is okay. The secondary should be great with Adrian Omos and Jair Alexander. Kevin King's a bit of a problem, but other than that, they should be great. And they got, like, that new rookie who could potentially replace Kevin King. Excellent O-line with David Bakhtiari and Corey Linsley. Zadarius Smith's great on the defensive line. This should be a great team. It's just, can they actually get to the Super Bowl? I don't know. Number 6, Baltimore Ravens. Alright, let's go over to the pros first. Lamar Jackson's, of course, a top 10 QB. You could argue top 5 if you really wanted to. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards make up an amazing running back duo. I think the wide receiver core will take a big step up because now we got Sammy Watkins and Rashad Bateman, and I think Marquise Brown is pretty good, but not good enough to carry an entire wide receiver position. Devin Duvernay should take a step up. Mark Andrews is one of the best tight ends in the league. Don't fight me. And Nick Boyle is what's the word for very important? He is a very important part of the rush game for the Ravens. The O-line should be back to form, because I really can't think of that big of a hole in the O-line on any of the 5 positions, because you got Monty Stanley coming back, Villanueva, which we got from the Steelers on the other side of the tackle position, Kevin Zeitler, and then Bozeman is serviceable, and then because we're moving Bozeman to center, so I guess the real question is, can the 3rd round rookie Ben Cleveland step up into the guard position? And then, of course, the secondary is possibly the best in football, other than probably the Broncos. The problem with this team really does come down to defensive line, the linebacking core, and just the pass rush in general. I think the interior of the pass rush is great. We are great at stopping the run, but when it comes to actually getting the quarterback, we're not great. Because on the inside, you got Brandon Williams and Calais Campbell, and someone else at the left end, or I guess the right end position, I don't remember who. Justin Mabuke, I think? Yeah. And then, it's really a lot of questions outside that when it comes to pass rush. LJ Fort's a decent linebacker. I'm a big supporter of Tyus Bowser. We're gonna have to wait and see whether Oweh, Mabuke, Pernell McPhee, even though he's really old, we're going to have to wait and see if those guys step up. So I don't feel comfortable putting them any higher than a C when it comes to the pass rush. Number 5, Cleveland Browns. On paper, best team in football, other than possibly I'm not going to spoil. Baker Mayfield's a great quarterback, best running back duo in the NFL. Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham make up a really decent wide receiver duo. Austin Hooper and someone else at the tight end position. Best O-line in football. Myles Garrett and I think Jadeveon Clowney at defensive line. John Johnson and Troy Hill will help out the secondary that already has Denzel Ward. My voice is killing me. The real problem is, of course, the linebackers. Ah, Jesus. Joe Sherpert left. They got a rookie, and he's really gonna have to step up. to make this linebacker core any good. Number 4, Buffalo Bills. Excellent. Hold up, I have to pause. Holy shit, I have to pause. All right. Oh snap. We're back. I realized the reason why my voice is killing me is because I've been recording for 40 minutes. Probably is karma for the fact that I made fun of Mr. Adam Rank for like 5 minutes before before we actually got into the rankings. Yeah, number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, great secondary. Just a few step-ups, maybe with the running back and a little bit of the linebackers. Other than that, this should be a Super Bowl contending team. Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs. Too many holes from defense for me to put them number 1 or number 2. But as long as they have Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill, Andy Reid, Tyrann Mathieu, should be good. LA Rams I have at number 2. I think Matthew Stafford will play great in his new home. Sadly, Cam Akers is injured throughout the rest of the season. A decent enough little wide receiver core for Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Good O-line, of course, Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. Linebacker position is a massive problem, however. And number 1, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do I have to explain it? Because my voice is killing me. I really don't want to explain it. I'm gonna go die. Bye. Hope you enjoyed. If you didn't, hold up. Oh wait, I have my last slide. Thanks for watching. Don Cheadle. Bye.